You turn the key, step inside your quiet house, and drop your keys. 10 minutes ago, you were laughing at a dinner party, feeling completely fine. But the second you are alone, an invisible, crushing weight drops onto your chest. Your brain suddenly rewinds the night and hits play on a dark director's cut. Did I talk too much? Why did I tell that stupid, embarrassing joke? Welcome to the Thought Vault. I am your guide, and you are not crazy. What you are experiencing right now is called the post-social hangover. It is the exhausting, immediate rumination that happens the second the crowd leaves. Let's look at why your brain turns a totally safe room into a courtroom. Here is exactly what happens inside your head when the front door closes. Imagine your social energy as a bright, glowing battery powering a heavy machine. While you are out, that battery is running at absolute maximum capacity. You are reading body language, matching tones, and making sure everyone is comfortable. Other people in the room are just gray, faceless outlines going with the flow. But you are hyper-vigilant, monitoring every micro-expression and every single pause. So when the night ends, that glowing battery doesn't just power down normally. It crashes completely, leaving your mind in a sudden, vulnerable, exhausted state. Without the live feedback of people smiling at you, your brain starts to panic. Silence becomes terrifying, because in the silence, your inner critic grabs the microphone. And this inner critic only speaks in absolute, catastrophic, worst-case scenarios. Let's look at that joke you made around 8 o'clock tonight. In reality, it was a totally normal comment. A few people softly chuckled. But now, in the quiet of your room, your brain pulls out a magnifying glass. It isolates that exact 3-second moment and projects it onto a massive screen. It strips away all the background noise, the music, and the warmth of the room. Now, all you can hear is your own voice, sounding loud and incredibly awkward. Your brain artificially edits the memory, painting disgusted expressions onto your friends' faces. You physically wince. You pull your knees to your chest, feeling actual burning shame. You are now suffering a consequence for a crime that you did not commit. You have convinced yourself that everyone in that room secretly found you annoying. This brings us to the core of the post-social hangover, the tolerance trap. Overthinkers rarely believe they are genuinely liked. They believe they are merely tolerated. You assume your friends are just being polite by inviting you to these things. So you spend the whole event trying to earn your spot in the group. If you aren't perfectly funny or incredibly helpful, you feel utterly worthless. You view every interaction as a delicate tightrope walk over a dark abyss. One slightly awkward comment, and you believe you will plummet into total rejection. Look at this tangled ball of dark yarn. This is what your thoughts look like. You pull one string. Did they like my shirt? And the whole thing tightens. It is an exhausting, impossible standard that no human being could ever meet. But here is a hard, uncomfortable truth about why you do this to yourself. This post-social rumination is actually a deeply twisted, hidden form of ego. I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me for just a second here. You believe your actions hold enough power to ruin everyone else's entire evening. You think everyone drove home obsessing over that one slightly weird thing you said. The liberating truth is, they didn't. They really, truly did not think about it. Most people are too busy starring in their own internal movies to review yours. That gray, faceless friend, they went home and worried about their own jokes. You are a background character in their mental replay, just as they are in yours. Understanding this isn't insulting. It is the key to letting yourself off the hook. When you ruminate, your body doesn't know the threat is just a memory. Your brain releases cortisol, the exact same stress hormone used to run from predators. Your heart rate spikes. Your breathing becomes shallow, quick, and incredibly tight. You are sitting completely still in bed, but your body is running a marathon. You are fighting a war against phantoms that only exist inside your own skull. Every time you replay the tape, you carve the anxious groove slightly deeper. You are training your brain to associate your friends with feelings of extreme danger. This is why you sometimes cancel plans at the very last possible minute. You aren't antisocial. You are just terrified of the hangover that comes afterward. You are trying to protect yourself from the inevitable, crushing judgment of your own mind.
So how do we stop the tape from playing when the lock clicks shut? First, you have to recognize the inner critic for what it actually is. It is not the voice of reason. It is the voice of a scared child. It is trying to predict rejection so that it won't hurt as much later. When the replay starts, you must intentionally interrupt the dark director's cut. Say out loud, "I am perfectly safe. The event is over. I am home." Ground yourself in the physical room. Notice the plain walls, the soft light. Do not try to argue with the anxious thoughts. That just feeds them more energy. Instead, visualize placing that tangled ball of yarn into a heavy, soundproof box. You don't have to solve it tonight. You just have to put it down. Next, look at the actual objective evidence from the night, completely without emotion. Did anyone explicitly say they were mad at you? No, they absolutely did not. Did they smile when you left and say they would see you next week? Yes. People are generally literal. If they didn't act upset, they probably aren't upset. Stop reading between the lines, because there is usually absolutely nothing written there. You are projecting a complex, dark novel onto a totally blank white page. Let your friends be responsible for their own emotions. That is not your job. If they have a problem with you, it is their responsibility to tell you. Until they do, you must operate under the assumption that everything is completely fine. It feels unnatural at first, but it is the only way to find genuine peace. Finally, you have to give yourself permission to be a little bit messy. You will say awkward things sometimes. You will stumble over your words. That doesn't make you a burden. It makes you a normal, flawed human being. The people who truly love you do not need you to be a flawless performer. They love you for your warmth, your quirks, and your genuine, authentic presence. Your perceived flaws are often the exact things that make you endearing to others. The perfection you are chasing is a ghost. It does not exist anywhere. And honestly, a perfectly curated, flawless person is incredibly boring to be around. Embrace the cringe. Let the awkward moments simply exist without punishing yourself for it. It is just a tiny ripple in a massive, beautiful ocean of your entire life.
The next time you come home from a gathering and the house goes silent, do not let the inner critic drag you into the dark, twisted mental hallway. Remember that you are safe. Remember that your mind is just playing tricks. Take a deep, slow breath and release the tension from your tired shoulders. You survived the night. You were enough, exactly as you were in that moment. The people you were with are probably in their own beds, totally at peace. It is time for you to grant yourself that exact same quiet grace. You don't have to perform anymore. The curtain is down. The stage is empty. You can just be yourself, plain, simple, and entirely worthy of connection. This is the Thought Vault, and today we are officially closing the loop. Rest easy tonight. Tomorrow is a brand new page, entirely unwritten and clear. Sleep well. You are completely fine. We will see you in the next one.